Hello, 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 and welcome into this week's Pick a Card. As you'll see from the title, this week's question is, what is my higher calling? So this is just a check-in. What is my higher calling? If you're asking yourself, if you're on a spiritual path and you're asking yourself that question, what might my path be? What does it look like? Maybe there's a message in here for you. And we've got pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. So I'll just ask you now, just take a moment, just connect your heart. Connect to whichever one of these piles is appealing to you. And then we'll get into it. Pile number 1 chose the light seers with the clear quartz. And I've chosen the work with your light oracle cards and also the keepers of the light oracle cards. So let's see what we have. Oh wow, beautiful. You've got Lady Portia, divine order. Do what you feel is right. An important lesson is unfolding. And then you've got the great gathering. It is all coming together. Intuitive hits and soul tribe. Beautiful. Let's see what the cards are saying. Okay. 9 of Wands, 7 of Swords, 8 of Cups. Wow. The Star. And then the Ace of Swords, sorry. So wow, this is incredible, right? So for pile number 1, whoever I'm speaking to, you know, we've been going through, we've had a really serious challenging time, yeah, is what I can see here straight away. You've had to learn a lesson here, particularly with this Lady Portia. This is a very purple card as well. And purples really symbolise crown chakra, but also forgiveness. So if there needs to be some forgiveness around this area, particularly with this star, because this is connected, this healing energy that's coming in here now. So if there's forgiveness that needs to be had either for yourself or for whatever this situation and whatever has unfolded here, then, you know, please offer that forgiveness. I feel like this forgiveness will be a very, very healing energy. We've had to be very resilient. I feel like we found something out. This could be a betrayal. This could be someone who's betrayed us. But it could also be something about ourselves even. It could also be, you know, sometimes we have self-betrayal where there's parts of us we don't see. You know, if you think about shadow, and thinking about, you know, aspects of our psyches that we're not familiar with. And sometimes that unfolds, yeah? And you've got this unfolding here happening in these cards and this message, this unfolding of a lesson. And this awareness, even you see that she's got this jewel on her third eye. So that just says there's an awakening happening, an awakening that's taking place. It's all coming together. So, you know, it would have been very difficult, this, you know, 7 of Swords. It could either be a betrayal of another person or, like I said, a self-betrayal where you found out something about yourself or somebody else that can't come with you for the new part of this journey. So whatever that might be, if that's something, you know, because this 9 of Wands is about resilience, really says to me, you know, 9 of Wands is really about our survival mode. So it's really about aspects of ourself that we've had to cultivate in order to survive in the world. And I feel like there's something here that has been found out, like, oh my gosh, like, you know, and that could be somebody else. You either be dealing with somebody who's very, very, you know, very much in their survival mode, which is putting you in your survival mode, and you found that out. Or this is an aspect of yourself where you've realised you're showing up in spaces, in places, in ways that actually don't serve you for this spiritual path, yeah? For the path forward, for where you want to go. And here is beautiful. You're leaving it behind. You're leaving it behind and coming towards this star energy. And Ace of Swords. And that's new knowledge, that's new knowing. Again, that's intuition. That's like really aligning with source, really aligning with divine energy. And so if, you know, if you're asking yourself, what is my higher calling? The higher calling is, look, you've had a bit of a tough lesson here. This feels like a really quite a difficult lesson. but you've done the right thing. Continue to do that. So continue to follow that. Follow your star. Follow the part of you that that you know is aligned. You know it. It's not like it should. You won't question that. But sometimes when the rational mind gets back involved, and we do question it, but it's all coming together. So so it says, an important lesson is unfolding and something is coming together. So, when something's unfolding, something else is being unraveled, but it's coming together in a different way. And here, even in these two cards here, this Seven of Swords, I don't know if you can see, in this Seven of Swords and this Eight of Cups, there's a sunlight here. There's a sunlight here. In this card, in this Seven of Swords, the sunlight is being shown upon this deceit. Yeah, either this self-deceit or this deceit of another person. The light is being shined here. Yeah, so we're learning something that has been in the shadows. Yeah, something that's been hidden is coming to light. That's teaching us an important lesson. We're learning something here. New knowledge is being found here. And here, this walking away again of this shadow, of this kind of, this dimness, this darkness, and walking towards the light. A light has been shone on something, and then, we're walking towards that. So I think, the message here is quite clear. You're on a healing journey. Your higher calling is really about trusting that you are moving towards the light. You are healing. You are gaining new knowledge. Either there's been, some, like I said, some heavy energy here, really, some past wounds, and it's not really about leaving that behind as such. It's more about just shining a light, yeah, and integrating that as you move forward. And here with the Soul Tribe and the Great Gathering, this really feels like, look, these will be people that you can be yourself around, yeah, that will accept you as you are, with your wounds and all, as long as they are in the light, yeah. And we're bringing that, emerging that into the light, bringing that part of ourselves into the light. And the star, which is just, again, a healing energy. The energy, again, I just keep hearing forgiveness, forgiveness, forgiveness. And that could be forgiveness of another person or forgiveness of self. Yeah, so this is not about being hard on yourself. Because sometimes, when we, with that saying, when we know better, we do better. And so when we know better, and then sometimes we look back at our past behaviour or things that happened in the past, and then we can be very unforgiving with ourselves. So we can think, oh, why did I do that? Why did I say that? Why did I, all of these kinds of things when we know better now. And this is really about forgiving that. It's a journey. Yeah, it's a journey. The lesson is unfolding. It's a process. And this is unfolding and emerging. So that forgiveness is about, forgive yourself or forgive somebody else. That person or you were working at the level of knowledge that you had at that time. Yeah. Now we have new knowledge. Can see going forward we do things differently. Yeah. And that is coming together. That's the Great Gathering. You are being brought in. So whatever has happened here, it has initiated a new kind of knowledge. It has initiated a new kind of awareness. And I feel like this is very the beginning stages, yeah? So whoever I'm speaking to, this feels like a very new thing. This feels very new and tentative, yeah? So I feel like your calling is really asking you to just continue that journey of healing, continue this integration of knowledge, and continue to forgive yourself, forgive your past, forgive the past, forgive the lessons of the past, and truly know that you can move forward. With new knowledge and integrate that and heal. Anything else? I think that's it. I think that's a really, again, like pretty straightforward pick a card message, which is really just forgive yourself. Yeah, new knowledge is coming in, new healing. Forgive yourself for the past. Keep looking forward. Whatever you're building or doing, it's happening. Keep doing it. It's all coming together. You're getting the knowledge. The knowledge is coming to you, and act on that. Act on that knowledge, and through that, something new is emerging. New knowledge, new soul tribe, new community. Yeah, new way of being. Okay, so that was pile number 1. I hope it resonates. Do let me know, and also, as always, just let me know if there's any other questions you'd like me to cover in this series. Thank you for watching, and let's get into pile number 2. Okay, so pile number 2, you chose the Star Tarot, which is such a beautiful, magical deck with the peacock ore, which is another beautiful magical stone as well. So yeah, let's see what we've got. So we've got Lord Shiva, Transcendence, amazing. Share your voice, come out of the cave, persecution and expression, rise up, honor your inner force, steps are being given, dance with the universe. Okay, so already straight away, what is your higher calling? Well, your higher calling is to really, you know, I feel like this is someone who, you've been doing a lot of spiritual work on yourself. You've kind of really been in a little cave working on your spirituality, and now it's time for you to come and share that. Yeah, so let's see what the cards say. What is that? What is that higher calling? Yeah, beautiful. You've got the World, 4 of Pentacles, 7 of Pentacles, 7 of Swords, and the Princess of Cups. Okay, let's get into these. All right, so first of all, straight away, already, I'm like, we're coming out of a very, very confined space. Yeah, so if that could be literal, as in like my physical space, my home, my wherever I'm staying, or it could be energetic or emotional, like I've been somewhere very encased, and this has been a good thing. Yeah, because I feel like we've done a lot of inner work here. We've been in a little cave doing our inner work. But now it's time to step out of that, and I feel like there's a bit of tentativeness here. Already I can see whoever I'm speaking to has got very healing energy. So you've got the Princess of Cups, which is like the Page of Cups, and the Page of Cups is a very dreamy, magical, creative, empathic energy. So very sensitive, very intuitive, but also very creative. The Page of Cups is a dreamer, really. It's a very much a dreamer. And it's almost like, I like with the Page of Cups, I always feel like it's a little bit pie in the sky. So it's a little bit, people will say, oh, you can't do that, or that doesn't. But this is like, I feel like this energy is tapping into your strength, yeah? Your ability you very, very imaginative. So this could be artistic. Let's see. I feel like some kind of artistic. So it could even be like architecture, literally designing, you know, like buildings, very much creative. So I see, what I see is someone who has a vision, writes it down, and then creates it. So that could be literally like a painting or architecture, or even it could be music. I mean, there's many different ways to create. It's infinite, really. Yeah, there's an infinite ways of creating. But this is done in a very healing way. So whatever this is going to bring healing. This is something that's very aligned to the divine realm, and bringing that into the world. And I feel like we're learning something here, because you've got the 7 of Swords and the 7 of Pentacles. Yeah, so I'm moving this way. I don't know. That definitely feels like that's the way I want to read these. And And it's like you're turning these, you see, like in this, it's such a beautiful deck. And particularly you've got the deer here. Now deers are like really interesting animals because they're like initiatory, yeah? So they call us to the path. They call us in. So this energy feels initiatory, yeah? It's like there was a tempting in of like, do you want to try this? Do you want to come on this path? Do you want to do this? You know, and what I feel like here is we've turned these swords, that there's like all these like these cold, like stale, dead, you know, kind of like really lifeless swords, and then we've turned them into magic, like turned them into these. So this really feels like whatever that is, like we've maybe, and this could be knowledge, like, you know, if you've gone to university and you know, you did something, you know, you studied something really like quite academic or intellectual, but it hasn't quite hit the spot, but yet it feels like, well, you're turning that. So if, you know, like for example, if you went to university to study architecture, for example, and that feels a little bit stale, a little bit sort of like, you know, but actually you can still turn that into something magical and divine. Like there is multiple ways, multiple pathways to become a healer. It doesn't have to be necessarily an energy healer, or even a tarot reader, or whatever that might be. It might not necessarily be, or even an artist, but there is still, so it could even be like, you know, you went to school and did mathematics or something, that's something that seems, and I say quote unquote, seems quite dry, seems quite academic, but actually has this capacity to be incredibly healing and actually is offering divine knowledge into the world. And I feel like that's what's happening here. So we've turned something that was a bit, you know, in our current paradigm, in our current like economic and political paradigm, that's a little bit like doesn't really have much of this, you know, dreamy, creative, like healing energy. I feel like you've infused it. So you've turned a knowledge base that you already had into this magical garden that comes from the heart. See, all the heart, the butterflies. This is beautiful. So you're coming out of this. So what your higher calling is, if this process hasn't already happened, this is a process that you're learning. You're gonna make this happen. This is your turning point, yeah? This feels like the turning point. Card in the middle, we're turning. You know, there's been this, this is a bit dead. This is sort of not working anymore, so it doesn't really hit the spot. I'm growing in my heart space. I'm growing in my creativeness, growing in your spiritual path even. Growing in your intuition, you're growing in this area, and now you've got to turn this knowledge, whatever this knowledge base that you already have, that feels quite stale. I feel like you can turn it around and turn it into this, which is like this magical garden, this magical, yeah, like it's still very healing. It has the capacity to be very healing. And I feel like this is going to move you out of, this is going to be very expansive, yeah? This is going to move you out of a very tight box. So whatever this feels like, this could be like just very conventional, sort of very, you know, you do this, you do that, and you go here, you go university, you get a job, you get married, you get a mortgage. It's very like conventional, yeah? There's nothing wrong with convention. But here, this convention feels like it's become oppressive, yeah? This convention, whatever this is, it's become a trap. It's become a closed box for you. And this new way of doing things, this turning this around, so it's not, I don't feel like this is new knowledge. Apart from this, the Princess of Cups is the new knowledge. It's the awakening of the heart that has been new. But the knowledge base, yeah, the training isn't new. It's just that we're going to turn that into something new, into something magical, into something healing, into something that serves the new paradigm. So, you know, we've had the old paradigm thinking here, and we're moving that into the new paradigm. And I feel like this has been a quite organic process, because already it just feels like suddenly there was a heart awakening here. And this convention just no longer served. It feels small now. And we're moving into a new world. The world is opening up. New chapter. The world keeps coming out. I mean, you know, in many of these readings, the world is coming out. And you've got Lord Shiva, which is transcendence. Rise up, honour your inner force. Steps are being given. Dance with the universe. I love this. You know, this is like, rise up, do it, make it happen. Yeah, don't stay in the small box. Don't stay in the convention. Don't stay there. You know, break out of that. And honour this inner voice, honour this heart awakening. Yeah, it can be integrated. Yeah, you don't have to throw away everything. This can be turned into this Seven of Pentacles. And this feels like whatever this process has been, and it could be, you know, like I said, the process of being in this 2-year pandemic, or whatever this time has been, this kind of incubation time, has been quite a while, yeah? And you're being asked to come out and do it. Step up, step out. And there may be some fear around that, fear around persecution, fear around expressing your heart, yeah, because of these conventions, because, you know, oh, you're supposed to do it like this, you're not supposed to do it like that. All of these kind of conventions of our current paradigm. But I just feel like you're getting to a point where even if you wanted to, I don't think you can stay here. Yeah, you're just expanding too much. The heart, remember, the heart is infinite. The energy of the heart, infinite, knows no bounds. Energy of convention is all about putting things in little boxes, putting things in places. And that, like I said, it has its time and its place. That's not necessarily a bad thing. But in terms of transforming what you do and making it feel aligned to your heart, yeah, that this needs to be transformed, yeah? And I think you need to release any fear around being persecuted, or any fear of like some kind of reprisal for not being, you know, conventional, for not doing the expectations. You know, that's what your fear of is, the fear of sharing your voice, of sharing your gift, sharing your inner force. You know, you're going to have to overcome that in order to expand into this new world. Anything else? So what is your higher calling? Your higher calling is to transform any conventional knowledge that you already have, some foundations that have already been laid, to transform them with this new knowledge of the heart and integrate them and create something new. This is going to be incredibly expansive. You're being asked to step up and share your voice. You have a gift, yeah? You have a gift to give the world. Don't stay small. Don't stay in your little cave. Don't stay where it's safe. You may want to stay here in the conventional place where it's safe, but it's also very small. And our heart is expanding at a rate of knots and is asking us to you know, to do more, and to integrate and to change this slightly. Like I said, we're just changing this. It's been a call. Yeah, and a new expansive new world is coming to you. Please do let me know if this resonates. Like I said, when I do these readings, I don't know who this, you know, who I potentially could be speaking to, but I do feel like this is someone who's already quite established in a conventional role. But I feel like you're learning how to, you know, change this. Like, for example, I've got a friend who works in marketing, and who slightly changed her path, and she still works in marketing, but decided to change her audience, decided to change who she would gear her work towards. And this felt like a way in which she could use the knowledge that she already had, use some foundations, but work towards something else that felt more aligned to her spiritual self, yeah? To her higher self, to her soulful self. And this feels like something similar. But this is asking us to kind of come out the box a little bit, come out of our comfort zone, yeah, and help to build the new world, the new paradigm. So whoever I'm speaking to, you've got a very, very important role. You've got a lot of very precious, important knowledge, a lot of gifts to offer. You know, you mustn't fear this, and learn to work with the expansive energy of the heart. So I hope that resonates, and I hope that's helpful. And yeah, as always, thank you for watching, and do let me know if there's any other questions you'd like me to address in this series. And we'll get on to pile number 3. Okay, so pile number 3 chose the Osho deck with the amethyst here, which is a very, very powerful meditative stone. Beautiful. So you've got Mariam, which is sacred vision. Choose to forgive in order to heal. See the light in all. Remember that love has no boundaries. And then you've got Star Mother. How can you mother yourself? Okay, let's see what we've got here. Morality. The burden. This is a lot of swords here already. So the Osho deck is slightly different to, obviously, to traditional tarot. They're related, but they're slightly different. Yeah? Okay, so you've got basically pentacles and swords. Pentacles and swords. Let's see what we've got here. Let's see what's happening here. Well, straight away I'm drawn to this middle card, which is like this, basically this little child going towards a rainbow. And then we see a turnaround here. Yeah, this is where the shift, this is the turning point. So what's happened here? All right, so this is like, okay, this is like the burden of, oh, so this is really rigid. So this, you know, and because you've got the Star Mother here, so either this is, this feels like childhood stuff, or definitely something from the past, that we're having to forgive here. This is very burdensome, yeah? This is a very burdensome energy. We've got this kind of like, don't do this, do that, don't do this, do that. Like, it's very rigid, it's very stale, it comes from the mind, it's all kind of, thought. You know, the thing about thoughts, and if anyone's familiar with, is it Ian McKellen? Oh gosh, if I've got that wrong, I'm sorry. But this, the divided mind, basically talking about these like two sides of the mind, and the left brain is obviously our logic, reason, but it recreates itself, yeah? So it doesn't really have any space for new sort of thinking, like it's not flexible, it doesn't expand itself, it recreates itself, yeah? So it only imports knowledge that already confirms what it already knows, but then it thinks it's very clever. And that feels like something here. It's very rigid. And there really isn't any space for any other fresh knowledge to come in and change this. Even though it's there. So you see this, like even the rainbow energy is here, but it doesn't get in. Yeah, it doesn't get into it doesn't change anything. Okay, again, apologies. Little technical hiccup there. But this has been very burdensome, yeah? This has been very heavy. This has weighed you down. So, you know, if this is like, so I'm going to move this here so you can see the cards. If this has been a parent, or, you know, like an authority figure in your life, I feel like this has been like a very, very oppressive, and it hasn't been leading anywhere. Like it's not knowledge that's actually helpful to you, or at least you don't feel like it has been. Yeah, and I feel like there's some deep healing that has to happen here, because there's a lot of forgiveness around this. So either, you know, maybe we've gone into a pathway, or we pursued something that we didn't really want to do, and actually felt very burdened by this. Yeah, and I feel like because we've got this adventure in the middle, which is like this childlike energy, this childlike curiosity, this call to adventure, this exploration. Now we're following the rainbow, yeah, on a new journey, new beginning. It feels quite vulnerable, quite new. You know, this will feel very scary, but it will also feel very inevitable, yeah? I'm called, I can't help but do this, yeah, and leave this behind. I feel what I'm feeling here is a lot of anger. Yeah, what I feel with these cards is a lot of anger around this. There's a lot of anger that, you know, either I don't know if, you know, if this is to do with, like, you know, if you went to boarding school or went to a convent or something like that, or, you know, something that was just very rigid and very closed-minded. You know, again, because it's a morality card, so it's like, you know, all about, you know, what you should and shouldn't do, and there's this kind of moralizing that goes with it, but it actually is creating like a really heavy burden. And look, it's like this, you know, see the burden, who is like the Joker, you know, the Joker is on this person's shoulders. They're being carried, and they're saying, you know, go this way, and this person is ailing underneath this, and then is being led where, you know, where are they going? And that's what it feels like. I've been led where, like where this morality, this closed-mindedness, this you know. So I feel like there's a lot of anger and frustration here, because I feel like you're here knowing this now, because we've got, look, how can we, you know, how can we forgive? You know, choose to forgive in order to heal. Yeah, we must leave this behind. How can we remother ourselves? So if this was, like I said, this feels like an area of authority. So if that would be like a school or a teacher or a parent or a guardian of some kind, or someone who had a great influence over our lives. Yeah, it could even be a partner, you know, a spouse, whoever it might be, but someone who had great influence over us. And took us potentially to a place where we realised we didn't want to be, but maybe we didn't realise that at the time. And then there's something new, you know, a new adventure, but it feels very like tentative. It's quite scary. And this is like learning to mother yourself. So learning, I don't need to listen to other people. I don't need to listen to the authority of other people. To the stale authority even of other people. How can I be my own parent? How can I mother myself? And you know, this is about a nurturing energy. How can I guide myself? Look here, you know, it's a child taking this new adventure. This is you. This is your inner child. Yeah, taking a new adventure. How can you guide yourself? How can you be both this inner child, this innocence, but also be your own parent, yeah? Nurturing parent as well. Not this voice of like, don't do, and this kind of harsh, you know, moralizing. But actually, how can I nurture myself? How can I guide myself in a more nurturing way? And remember that love has no boundaries, yeah? See the light in all, even in this. And like, this feels like there's a lot of anger and frustration here, and this makes it very closed. And when it's very closed, it's very hard for the light to get in. Yeah, the light can't get in. And really, in order to heal, we need to let the light in here. Yeah. So it's a time for processing any anger, any disappointment, any fears around this. And then we're coming into here. We are the world, ordinariness. There's the Ten of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles here. Which I love in the Osho deck. Because this is community, yeah? This is like your new, you know, like new friendships, new networks, sort of learning new. So this is like, you know, you see the rainbow here is the rainbow here. So you'll go, you know, I feel like even literally saying like, you know, the rainbow community. So even if I'm talking to someone who's from the LGBT community, you know, and there's been some, you know, really, you know, anything around like, you know, like obviously your sexuality or your expression, your identity, etc. These kind of, you know, internalize any sort of real negative ideas about yourself. And again, this feels like, don't worry. Look, you've had to set out on an adventure almost all by yourself, and you're going to find your community. You're going to find your community. Find people that are like yourself. Find people that can support you. Find people that can mirror you, who can be with you, and then you can learn this ordinariness, which I love in the Osho, which is like, talks about ordinariness. It's just a guy walking in a park surrounded by blossoms, which is very appropriate for this time of year, which is spring here in the UK. But and it's just, it feels very much like, you know, learning to be, and it's not an ordinariness like you're nothing special, but an ordinariness of like just learning to live and be happy, yeah, without all of this burden and moralizing, and you know, and it doesn't have to be someone from LGBT, whatever it might be, where there has been sort of some idea that somehow there's something wrong with you, or something you're not quite what you should be, and that's, you've carried that and it hasn't really led you anywhere. And I feel like you're opening up a new door now to finding your community, finding like people that are like you, think like you. And look, everyone's dancing on the world here. This is very joyful, yeah? It's a culmination. Even almost, I want to say, taking over the world, like, as well. Like, it's kind of like influencing the world, yeah? Sort of changing the direction that the world spins, yeah? It doesn't have to be like this stale, frustrating, closed, you know, moralizing energy. It can be open, it can be joyful, and there can be a joy in the ordinariness of that. You know, I just go to the shops, pick up some fruit, come home, eat some fruit, or, you know, go home, make a sandwich or something, like, you know, and there's some joy in that. And that's, you know, that's, so if you want to ask what your higher calling is sort of releasing this, yeah? And not just releasing the ideas that have been embedded here, but also forgiving, yeah? Forgiving whoever that is, or whatever that path has been, whatever this is, which I feel, you know, feels very difficult and feels very heavy. And I feel like that, just, you know, learning to forgive this, and trust yourself in this new journey, this new path, this new community. Forgive yourself, forgive others, and nurture yourself. Be your own parent here, yeah? Your higher calling. Your higher calling is taking you to, you know, where you're supposed to be. I feel like this would have taken you somewhere where you weren't supposed to be, but I don't think you knew that at the time. You wouldn't have known that at the time. You wouldn't have known that that's where it was taking you down a dead end. So I can imagine there would have been some anger here about that. Now that you look back and see where, you know, you have more of an idea. You're being called to adventure. Called towards the rainbow, yeah? So even that's beautiful. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, yeah? There's a light at the end of the tunnel. So keep calling that in. Keep forgiving, keep nurturing yourself, keep guiding yourself as you take this new path. Your community is coming in, and you will find joy in the everyday, in the ordinariness. And that doesn't mean you're not going to do extraordinary things. And I'm not going to put any more clarifiers here, just because I haven't in the previous reads, and I feel like that feels like, for now, there's a bit of a full stop here. And I feel like we can cultivate here, and then there'll be another story after that. But for now, I feel like it's just basking in the joy and simplicity. Maybe it's not ordinariness, but a simplicity, yeah, of everyday life. Noticing the blossom on the trees and feeling joyful about that. Something as simple as that. Just going for a walk in the park, eating fresh fruit. You know, there's something very joyful about that in its simplicity. So I really wish you the very best of luck. I can send all of the psychic energy from this reading and send this as a healing energy to whoever is listening. Do let me know if this resonates, and again, thank you for watching, and do let me know if there's any other questions you would like me to cover. And thank you again, and I'll see you next time.